Hello guys, and welcome to SHILLEM'S Stitches. If this is your first time visiting this channel, you're highly welcome. And for my returning subscribers, thank you and God bless you. Please like my video, subscribe to this channel and share the video. Today's tutorial is about a denim jacket and a two-layered gathered skirt. It's simple to make, so let's get started. Get your pattern paper and then draw your start line, which also represents your shoulder line. On that start line, take your length of the shirt. For this jacket, I'm using 13 inches. So I've marked the 13 inches now, and then my shoulder length of 4.5. From that point, I'm going to mark my armhole depth of 5 inches, like I'm doing now. So I'm going to join those lines together like this. On that line, I'll put here my chest circumference divided by 4, which is 21 divided by 4, 5.5 plus 1 inch seam allowance of 6. That gives me 6.5, and I'll join the armhole curve this way. From that 6.5 mark on the chest line, I'll just join it straight to the full length of this denim jacket. I'll make a curve over there using an ½ inch upward. So I'll come back to my shoulder line and take the shoulder, the neck width, which is 2 inches by 1 inch neck depth. Please note that we are drafting for the back side of this jacket now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to do my shoulder sloping. I'm going to be using ½ inch for this shoulder sloping. So I'll just connect the lines like this. So we are done with drafting for the back side. The next thing is to go ahead and cut this back side for the denim jacket. So I'll keep that aside. Let's proceed to make to draft for the front side. For this front side, we're going to be adding extra 2 inches for the bottom line, just as it is in the picture. So that gives us about 9 inches altogether. The length remains the same, that's 13 inches. So I'm just trying to make sure that it's actually 13 inches without any extra spaces on this. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to fold out, or rather fold in the 2 inches for the bottom line, but I need to be sure that that is exactly 2 inches. That's why you see me marking that 2 inches this way. Then I'm going to fold a line along that line I've just marked, like you see me do now. Now that is done, we're going to proceed to do every other thing just like we did for that front side. So come again to your start line, put in your shoulder length of 4.5 and your armhole depth of 5 inches. Then you go ahead and join the lines together and make your curve over there. So go again, put your chest circumference divided by 4 plus your 1 inch seam allowance and make your curve like so. So once that is done, the next thing you're going to do is to go ahead and put in your neck width, same 2 inches, but this time around the neck depth is 2.5 inches. Alright, so I've just marked my 2.5 inches here and join the lines like so, and then put in my curve for the neck side. It's my French curve, or you can my curve rule, or you can go ahead and use your free hand to do that. To do your shoulder sloping by ½ inch and then join the lines like so. Please note to remember to join your line at the chest line together with your shirt length. Alright, so do the curving with ½ inch upward like that before you go ahead to cut. Alright, you'll see where I will do that joining later in the video. So this is what it will look like once you are done cutting it. So I've folded my fabric and it's unfold like this, taking note of my 2 inch for 2 inches for my bottom line. If you want to know how to know the exact amount of fabric you'll be needing, watch my previous video for more detailed explanation. So I've gone ahead to cut out that x-axis from the pattern paper after joining the chest line to the bottom line. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to carefully trace out this pattern on my fabric and cut along that tracing. So this is what I have after I was done cutting along the tracing. If you look at the picture carefully, you see that the front will have a V kind of shape over there. So from this now we're going to just extend that line downward with about 3 inches. See that now, and cut along that line. So this is me cutting that 3 inches extension, and then I'll split it over this way. Now that this is done, we're going to proceed to coupling. Alright, first thing you're going to be doing is to join the front side and the back side at the shoulders. So I'll join these two sides now at the shoulders. Alright, in the end everything is going to be perfect, so don't worry yourself, just join them at the shoulders with half an inch or quarter of an inch. So this is me after joining them at the shoulder. Then put the two sides and put them together at the neckline this way, and then remove about 3.5 inches depending on you. So I'm using 3.5 inches outside the remaining collar line. So after removing my 3.5 inches, I have about 5.75 inches for my collar line. So now we are making our collar. Please pay close attention. To make your collar is very easy. See the way I'm folding it now. But I'm going to explain how to cut out your fabric, because you may be wondering, how do I know the amount of fabric to cut out for this collar? Since your collar is measuring 5.75, for instance, in this case, what I did was just to multiply that 5.75 by 2 and added about 1 to 2 inches extra. So that gave me 13 inches, alright? Same thing for the width. I'm using a width of 2.5 inches for this collar. I multiplied it by 2 and added a few other extra inches. That gave me 7.5. That was how I arrived by at my 13 inches by 7.5 for this collar. So now that all that is done, looking at the video, you see how I folded it. Once you fold it into that 4 shapes, 4 folding, you cut measure at your 2.5 inches, and then for the length you measure at 5.75 plus extra 5.5 inch. That's like 6.25 at the top. That gives you that curve kind of, because you measure 5.75 at the bottom, and then at the top you measure 6.25, so slant it, and that gives you that curve. So after doing all of that, you just go ahead and cut it out, and then you attach it to your jacket this way. After attaching it, you now go ahead and fold it downwards and stitch just the way I'm explaining, I'm showing you now. So we're done with the collar now. So the next thing we're going to do is to work on the button line. To work on the button line, you will know that your duty or your task here is to fold in your 2 inches that you added, 2 inches extra that you added at the beginning. So just mark it out, then fold the way I folded and stitch it down that way. So this is what I have after I was done doing that. Next is to go ahead and bias our armhole. You can choose to use whatever you want to use, but I'm using the same fabric to just turn over this armhole. So for this armhole, I just measure my armhole length like that, and then determine the width of the fabric you're using. For this one, I measured 10 inches by 4 inches, which I'm still going to cut into 2, which will now give me 10 inches by 2 inches. But after attaching it, I discovered that that 2 inches was too wide, so I went on to reduce it and then folded it this way before stitching that. So I'll do this for one side, and then I'll do the same thing for the other side. So this is how it looks like. Go ahead and do the same for the other side. Now once that is done, you go ahead and join the sides. When you're joining the sides, remember to join by your seam allowance you added. For this job, we used 1 inch seam allowance, so I'll join the side with 1 inch seam allowance and then hem it that way. Go ahead and fix your buttons just the way you like it, and then stitch down the edge of that collar the way I'm showing you now. So we are done with that. Let's proceed to make our skirt. To make this skirt is very simple. I'll be cutting this skirt in 2 parts. So I'm actually dividing the waist circumference of 20 by 2. So that's 10 both front and back. So what I did was to cut 10 inches width by 6 inches length for the first layer, and for the second layer I cut around 15 to 16 inches by 10 inches length. You can use more inches for the second layer if you have more fabric. Alright, That way you can be able to gather or even pleat more. Alright, so after doing that, I'll just go ahead and do this, small gathering the way I've done now, to fit in that 10 inches for the first layer, and then join it just like this. So this is what I have after I was doing that. I was done doing that. Okay, so I've done for the second side. I'll just go ahead and face them front side facing front side. Ensure that that line align together before you stitch, so you don't have disproportionate things. Okay, so this is it after I was done joining them at the sides using the same allowance I added. So this is the elastic band I'm using for the waist. It measures 19 inches by 1 inch. It's a 1 inch elastic band. So you just put it the way I've fixed it now and fold it down that way. Endeavor at this point not to stitch on the elastic band itself. Just stitch it all around, and that will be that for that. So this is what you should have when you are done stitching it the way I explained. The next thing we're going to do is to go ahead and hem the bottom of this skirt. Alright, so once I was done, this is what I had, and voila, we're done with this skirt and the jacket. So you can choose to embellish the way you want, but because of the picture we have, we're still going to, I'll just go ahead and put the belt strap so I can put in my belts like that. So I've put down the belt hole, and this is what we have. Thank you for staying by. Subscribe, like my video. Thank you. Bye.